This is video number 57 on your Firearms Defense channel. This is going to be about video number 4 about the malfunctions. I was trying to demonstrate a type 3 malfunction for a friend of mine the other day, and I couldn't do it because I found out I was missing a necessary step in it later. And that's what this video is about mainly. I'm going to go back and correct that step that I missed and show you it in great detail. I'm also going to do a demonstration of a type 2 malfunction and show you briefly how those are demonstrated and simulated. Also, right at the top, I would welcome any and all input from those of you who watch this video, because even though I've been to front sight a couple of times and shot, and I've done some shooting around here, I probably only have about 1,500 rounds through my Glock and about 100 rounds through the SIG, so I've never actually experienced a real live malfunction of any kind for that reason, and especially I haven't experienced any type 3 malfunctions. So if anybody out there in Glockland has actually experienced a type 3 malfunction and wants to give me any input, you're more than welcome. Okay, a type 3 malfunction is technically known as feedway stoppage or failure to eject. Now, there are several possible causes of this. The first and most likely cause is a worn or broken ejector pin, and you can also get it from reloads too, from the cases that aren't sized right or whatever, and they get jammed in the chamber. So that's the most likely cause. And my feeling is about this, it can probably be caused by a lot of shooting. Like say you go to the range for 5 years and you've got 10,000 rounds through your Glock, you might experience a type 3 because you've worn out the ejector pin or something. So for that reason, it's probably a good idea to have your semi-automatic pistol serviced periodically. And of course, if you're law enforcement or whatever and you're depending on these weapons to save your life, it's probably not a good idea to have high-time range weapons for that purpose. But if you're law enforcement, you probably know that already. So, okay, I'm 2 minutes and 31 seconds into this, so having said that, I'm going to get right to the demonstration here. I'll turn on some light here so I can show this a little better. Okay, now the first thing and most important thing is, since we're demonstrating this with live rounds in the weapon, the first and most important thing is safety. Okay, the first thing is here I'm demonstrating this with, as maybe you can see on this video here, I'm demonstrating this with hollow point bullets. So they're not going to go through a wall at any great velocity and kill someone half a mile away. Also, the direction I'm going to be pointed in, there's a wall over there that they would have to go through. There's a tree beyond that wall. There's a storage shed in the back. It's got 2 wooden walls, so it would have to go through all that. So it's just a good idea to be aware of what's downrange when you're demonstrating something with live rounds. Now, okay, I'm going to demonstrate this with my Glock here and show you how this is set up, how you set up this simulation. First thing you have to do is pull the slide back and lock the slide back with the slide lock here. Got my hand in the way. There's a slide lock. You lock the slide back. Drop a live round in the chamber like this. Okay. Insert the magazine. Release the slide. This jams up against the round in there. This simulates a feedway stoppage or a type 3 malfunction. Now, when you look in there and see this, it's real scary to look at these live rounds in the chamber if you're not familiar with this setup. But it's nothing to worry about. Contrary to what the liberal media will tell you, you won't have a negligent discharge unless you drop the firing pin on a live round. The firing pin, if you can see on this video, the firing pin is right there. You have brass low in the chamber, so the firing pin is nowhere near the brass. Now, when you're when you're simulating this on a Glock, you have to trip the trigger to simulate a dead trigger. Oh, also you have to release the slide and push the slide forward against the round that's in the chamber. I've already done that. I don't remember if I told you or not. You trip the trigger to simulate a dead trigger. Now, when you have a dead trigger on the Glock, this is what you'll have. It won't even move at all. Now, I have a SIG here that's all set up for this simulation also. Now, when you set your SIG up for this simulation, you'll have a dead trigger on the SIG, but it'll move about like that. That's what a dead trigger on the SIG looks like. On the Springfield XD, the dead trigger will look like that. So on the SIG and the Springfield, you'll have two entirely different dead triggers. Now, so the way you clear this on your Glock is you tilt it back and look in the chamber. You see your feedway stoppage. You pull the slide back. With the firing side thumb, you push the lock lever up and lock the slide back. You strip the magazine. Now, if this is your only magazine, you retain it. Now, you'll note the round just fell out when I pulled the magazine out. That's because it wasn't fired and it hadn't expanded in the chamber. A real round wouldn't have dropped out like that. Okay. Now, after you pull the magazine out, you do 3 real hard racks. Push the slide to release. Do 3 real hard racks with a push-pull action. Push with the right hand, pull with the left like this. The reason you do that is you assume you've got a partially broken ejector pin, and you're going to have to do this to clear the chamber. Then after that, you reinsert the magazine if you've retained it. If you haven't retained it, you put another one in. Chamber around, point back down range, and point in, you're ready to go. Also, I have to mention this again. When you're clearing malfunctions of any type, the very first thing that happens, the finger comes off the trigger. You don't want to be working the action with the finger on the trigger. So that's 7 minutes into this. I think I've got just enough time here left to demonstrate this in real time, maybe 7:46. So I'm going to see if I can't demonstrate this in real time and show you what it looks like in real time. Okay, I'm going to set up for it now. Push the slide back, lock the slide back, insert around in the chamber, and insert the magazine. Release the slide so that it jams against the cartridge. Okay, trip the trigger so you have a dead trigger simulation. Point in, press the trigger. The symptom is a dead trigger. Tilt your weapon back and you see the brass low in the chamber. Pull the slide back. Trigger finger comes off the trigger, by the way. Pull the slide back. Lock the slide in place with the firing side thumb. Release the magazine. Since I'm doing this with the unfired round in the chamber, the round dropped out. It would normally stay in. Retain the magazine. Since this is my only magazine, I'll retain it. Release the slide. 3 real hard racks. Insert the magazine. Chamber around. Point back down range, point in. And that's type 3 malfunctions, and I'm going to sign off now because I've just about used up all my time. See you in the next video.